But now Kumo's now running as an independent.
No,
so
he's not.
He's going to be
No, he's not.
Oh, he's not?
He officially dropped out of the race. He was embarrassed.
When was that? Was that because yesterday he was going to run? Are you sure? I'm
positive. Yeah, I think he dropped out yesterday. But here's the thing, and like I said, Alfonso, listen to what this young lady just said. It's no smoke with us. She's entitled to her opinion, but they looked at the messenger and not the message. They didn't pass the message. Yeah, he has some great talking points. He also has some shit in the world.
And he's spent $65 million on sex changes for minors. So
absolutely, we'll have a question.
He wants to increase the basic income wage for $30 an hour. $30.
I have a question for the room, given what everyone has just said about the guy, right? A lot of people look at Mamdani's policies and say these are brain-dead policies. Social net doesn't work. Free grocery stores, they tried in the Soviet Union, they had red lines, et cetera, right? But how come people, and there's a lot of flash, but no substance. One could say all those same things about Trump, but Trump is given out by, well, at least he's trying something new. So here's my question. Why are we willing to give Trump the benefit of the doubt and say, hey, at least he's trying something new? We're not willing to give this man the same grace.
Well, I can't speak for everybody else. I can speak for myself. One of his policies are, you ready? He wants the state to take over all grocery stores. He wants a state-run grocery stores.
No.
I thought he just wants to create state-run grocery stores.
He doesn't want. He wants to subsidize them in different ways because they're already being subsidized. No, that's a fact, JB. Honestly.
Okay, so put the link in the chat.
That's a bad idea.
Hold on. Okay, I know you hear my voice. I know you get very excited.
Still in the race.
Okay. Cuomo's not in the race. Pin the link in the chat. He dropped out yesterday. I saw the news conference. My eyes and ears work. So just because you say it's true doesn't mean, hold on, Poo-Poo, make it true. See, you're welcome on the stage, but you got to dial it down. It's only 9 o'clock in the morning, bro. Cut down please cut down. Go to decaf. Okay.
That'd be a bad idea, JB.
Well, I'm not sure that, from what I understand, from what I've read, the policy is he wants to create state-run grocery stores that people can go to if they want to, alongside the private bodegas and big chains and all that. So I'm not sure the policy is to municipalize / nationalize the grocery stores as much as it is to create essentially like the post office runs alongside FedEx, just a government-run alternative that people can go to if they want.
Which is a terrible idea because the government does really bad at everything. Education, healthcare.
Right, but I agree with that to some extent, but my question wasn't whether the policy was sensible. The question was, Trump has a whole bunch of brain dead on arrival, stupid policies, but we say, hey, at least he's trying, right? Why don't we say from Mamdani, hey, at least he's trying?
I told you my problem.
I know, yeah, Jay, you already answered.
Hold on, Dr. Wise. Listen, I'm not a super Jew. I have tattoos and I eat bacon, but I do support Israel. And when this guy comes out saying the things he says, now, Kuba, I'm being honest. When he comes out and says he doesn't believe in Israel's right to exist, right? I'm done. That's a hard no for me. But let me say good morning to Uncle Steve. Uncle Steve, good morning.
JB, what a pleasure it is to be in another one of your amazing rooms. And by the way, since you are moving to Texas eventually, you're going to be a hell of a lot closer to Casa de Appel, which means I'm going to have to do a lot more heavy lifting to roll out that red carpet closer to Texas.
I'll tell you what, man, I've never been to Cali. I would love to come to California one time. But I saw an article. I'm going to look for the article. I'm going to pin it on top about these squatters, they call them dangerous squatters that are taking over Los Angeles. And they're very violent people, according to the article. So.
Yeah, that's true. Fortunately, why are you interrupting me and JB when we're talking? I don't understand. Thank you. All I can say is, JB, there are no squatters at Casa de.
That's good.
Sorry, I was getting the article. I just found the article. I'm going to pin it to the top.
That's okay. I said there are no squatters at Casa de Bill.
Okay. Well, I know you're fully loaded, and I've heard good things about you from people who've met you in real life.
Fully loaded, plus the pit bull, baby. So the red carpet is open, and of course the red carpet means a place to stay for at least a week, plus all food and drink is covered, unless of course you want to go out to eat. That's a different story.
Well, if you're a good cook, still save the money. But let me say good morning to Joe B. Joe B, that's a nice PTR you have. Joe B.
Yeah, thank you. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Do you want to jump into the conversation? Because you may get 15 seconds before C jumps off on mic.
No, I'll just listen for now.
Okay. C, give me some pushback.
No pushback. Just listening. Off.
See, I know it may not seem that way, but actually, I'm fond of you. I think I love you. Your energy level's are always the same. I respect that. But yeah, so Steve, I put this article on top. Los Angeles residents on edge is absolutely terrifying. Violent squatters terrorize Ritzy neighborhoods. Is it just the Ritzy neighborhoods?
JB, I haven't heard this. There's clearly a difference between homeless and squatters. Squatters are people that, transients, shall we say, for lack of better words, that will not only inhabit vacant buildings, but also parts of your property where people are not staying. I'll have to take a look at this right now because I haven't heard this. I'll take a look at it and see if it's anything new.
I mean, squatters can be actually classified as like ex-husbands too. Like if they're not moving out and the title's in someone else's name. So squatters happen all across the United States of America.
Wait. See, what if it's an ex-wife?
I was about to ask that question.
If the title's in the husband's name and she's not moving out, it's a squatter. So I'm just saying, like the article. I mean, look, I live in the Bay, like California, so I'm not really quite sure what the squatters. There's squatters all across the nation. That's all I have to say.
All I gotta say is nobody wants to be in the Bay Area. Just my opinion. Good morning, Sin.
Don't come. No need to come.
I wasn't going to. Sin, how you doing?
Good.
Do you want to chime in?
I don't know. I don't live in LA, but it looks like LA got a lot going on. They have, and thank you for the shout out earlier. I don't know. They're spending Trump sent the Marines out there, $180 million. It seems like all the NYPD, National Guard, Marines, they're all there worried about migrants selling tamales on the street. And meanwhile, all this other crime is going on. So I don't know. I think maybe they need to redirect these people to get the squatters out, or maybe they need to update their laws about squatters, because it's not really landlord-tenant laws. I think they updated the squatter law here in New York because someone got killed by a squatter, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, bigger cities tend to have to be more tenant-friendly than more rural areas or other areas. So it's certainly a problem. But I would say, look, LA got a lot going on. I don't know how big this issue is. I think they have bigger problems than few people squatting.
Well, Sin, I first of all, I didn't know you were based in New York, so New York, Brooklyn loves. But here in our city, we definitely have a homelessness problem, right? Just get on the train. And listen, at one point in my life, I was homeless. So I get it, but I don't think any of these homeless issues that we have in our cities, New York, LA, San Francisco, wherever it may be, unless we come together and start solving some mental health issues, there's always going to be homelessness.
Yeah, for sure. I actually worked in the shelters here in New York City, and I almost became a Republican because, things got so bad. But, I definitely understand what you're saying. There's definitely mental health issues. There's definitely, this is a right to shelter state, just like Massachusetts, other areas are like that.
What does that mean, right to shelter?
So you do get a bed. So if you go to the Bronx Path, I think it's called, you do get a bed. You check in, you can get a bed in New York City. Like, no one has to technically be sleeping on the street in New York City. But people do so because of mental health issues. They're on drugs, they're transitioning, the shelter system doesn't necessarily work for everybody, but you are technically owed a bed in New York City. They have to give you a bed. They have to shelter you, whether you're a migrant, whether you're a citizen, doesn't matter. They have to give you a bed. So why people are on the street, this is due to lack of funding for mental health services, which were gutted, year after year. These type of services are gutted. So that's what we need. We need services for veterans as well, right? We don't. That's the worst thing is seeing someone who served this country on the street, and that happens a lot in New York City, unfortunately.
Everybody, hold on. Stan, I have to tell you something. This is no cap. If you were sitting next to me right now, I'd give you a big hug. Because I say it all the time. The way we treat our vets in this country is an embarrassment and a shame. Like, we should be empowering these people, uplifting them, and the way we treat them is disgusting. My son-in-law did 2 tours in Afghanistan, and I got to tell you, the medical help that he receives, is atrocious. So I agree with what you say. Dr. Again, now you want to say?
Yeah, to you and Sen, why do we think that is, though? Why are these programs being gutted? Our elected officials, they know that we have men and women who serve, who need this help. They know that we have a mental health crisis. Why, of all of the initiatives and programs that could be defunded, is this typically at the top of the list in many states? They cut funding for mental health initiatives. They cut funding for veterans. Why? Sen, in your opinion, and JB, if you want to chime in on that. I'm just curious to know why you guys.
Well, she worked in the system, so she could probably speak on it better than me, because I got to be honest with you, Sen, you give me a bag of cash, I'm not working in no shelter.
Yeah, it was certainly rough. I mean, these are policies that cut social services and these institutions. So these are, I hate to be, the political person here. This is a result of, Reagan, right? He put a lot of mental health care on W. Bush as well. I mean, I could look up specific policies, but I have a meeting in a minute. And I think that, if we're talking about education, this is maybe a little unrelated, but related. No Child Left Behind. I think when we got education, I think that certainly plays a huge role into, people being able to get a proper education, but being able to support themselves, and with the homeless crisis. So I think, when I think about, people cutting mental health services and stuff like that, this is a real thing. And now what's going on, Medicaid will be gutted, right, under this big, beautiful bill, if it goes through. So this is going to be bleak, and certain states like New York, California, right, maybe they will be able to step in where the federal government will not anymore. But other states like Wyoming and Kansas and stuff like that, Kentucky. So, it just depends. It might not be able to step in. So we kind of like at a wait and see phase, but I think maybe that's more that you wanted, but I don't have like specifics on the federal cuts to mental health.
Jason, I have a question for you regarding shelter. Like, you mentioned that, New York has, right to get shelter. Are you saying that other states don't offer, you don't have a right to get a bed if you're homeless?
So I know, like, usually like the state, like the Northeast states, I think you do. I don't know which states are what. I know New York for sure, and I know you go to the Bronx, you check in, but again, if you are a single person, you go to the single men's or the single women's, or if you have a family, you get like family shelter. and it may be a hotel if the shelters are at capacity. You know, these are not like luxury hotels or anything. These are the very bottom tier for the most part.
Of course.
Or mid tier, right?
But you're saying like other states don't even offer a bed. Like, that's what
and you have to check in and out. Yeah, if the shelter. I mean, we spoke to kids, in the other room in Jockport, right? Jockport was, they have a temporary injunction. I think that's going to last a year until they figure Jockport out. But those kids, many of which are foster kids or have unstable home conditions, they were told on a Thursday they needed to find shelter by Tuesday. And we spoke to a lot of the kids in our room, and a lot of the kids didn't have placement yet. They were scrambling to find churches and find other resources because the shelters were at capacity in that particular city. So they were trying to figure things out, and they didn't have much time. But thankfully, say what you will about it, and I have criticism of Jockport, but these are 50,000 children that are vulnerable, mostly Black, or 50% Black, 80% Latino. These are people that are, low socioeconomic status, that were just, receiving job training. Say what you will about the program, but, I don't think that's a way to get rid of something by giving people less than a week notice to find housing. So, so a lot of those kids, those shelters were over capacity and they weren't accepting, anyone else. So, there's plenty of shelters around the country that just don't have any more capacity, and you're kind of out of luck at that point.
I mean, I agree with everything you said, but I think we have to accept that that's kind of the point with these policies, right? I think trying to appeal to the humanity of Trump and his party is wasted effort. They know exactly what they're doing, and they know exactly why. They want to see increase in homelessness. They want to see people on the street, because that's how they pay for the tax. That's how they pay for tax cuts for the rich, right? The pie is only so big, and either the poor people are going to get it, or the productive people, wink, wink, the capitalist class is going to get it, and they've decided that they want the capitalist class to get it. So.
Wow, bro, that is so. That's a simplistic view.
It's reality. So we just have to, because that's what's happening. That's the impact of the bill. They know what this is going to do, and so we just have to accept that and accept the implications of that.
And just look at what RFK is doing. I mean, the vaccines. If they decide that children shouldn't get measles and chickenpox vaccines, the insurance companies are going to wait towards. They're not going to actually provide insurance for children to get these vaccines.
My God, dude, I gotta leave this room. Apparently, like we got a bunch of leftist logic in here.
That's the impact, right?
No, actually, this is serious. My brother died of chickenpox, actually. So
I know. And RFK Jr. is not saying he wants to take away.
Because you can die.
He's not saying he wants to take away.
One mic, please. Go ahead, Doc.
Yeah, so can I say, because a lot of people have been talking, I never get a chance to talk apparently, but a lot of people have been saying some misinformation like he's going to take away vaccines. That's not what's happening. He's giving these parents a choice. He's questioning some of our pharmaceutical companies, and that's okay. If you're okay with just blindly taking this shit and blindly letting the pharmaceuticals make all these choices, then keep on with the status quo, because that's what it was before. You can watch a little bit of cable, and every commercial with some pill they're trying to sell you, try to get you on, and then they're going to talk about the side effects really quickly. We are so bought and paid for by the pharmaceutical industry, and I'm so glad we have someone like RFK Jr. who's going in there and questioning that. If you guys think that he's going to take away, sorry, my dog's all went in the park, but take away vaccines, then you're being hyperbolic and unrealistic. That's not what's happening.
My brother died of chickenpox. There was no vaccine at the time, so there's truth to that.
When was this?
When was this? He wouldn't have died if there was vaccine.
When was this?
Listen.
When was this?
If you listen, she'll tell you.
She's just saying something, Kubu. She's just saying things. I think that's bullshit lies.
Has RFK criticized the chickenpox vaccine?
That's what I'm saying. Like, what the hell? So her saying her brother didn't get to take the chickenpox vaccine.
No,
What
there
did they
wasn't
live in
a
the
vaccine
50s?
for at the time.
I think RFK
Where do you
believes
live?
in the chicken pox.
Dude, I mean, I'm just, vaccine as if it's,
Ma'am, can you give us more information? Are you going to blame that on RFK
it's
Jr.?
very personal, but it's really a fact.
Kitover, I'm not talking to you, brother. I'm trying to talk to you.
Wait a second. Doctor, let's talk for a minute. See, the mic is yours, and then we'll go back to doctor, and then we'll say hello to Zach.
So I will just say honestly, like my brother did, pass away from chickenpox when we were children, and it still upsets me because, it's very disturbing. It's really upsetting. There was no vaccine at the time, and
So that has nothing to do with RFK.
So it's not. I don't need to be told it's a lie because it's not okay. And so now it wouldn't happen these days. It would not have happened. It was just a couple of years before the vaccine. So that it is very distinct when you actually see your best friend, your brother, next to you with I had chickenpox, he had chickenpox. My older brother and sister had chickenpox 2 weeks before us, and there was no vaccine, and we were young, but he passed away, and he was my best friend, and it's not a joke. So when I hear this shit,
I hear you, man.
No, but you need to
at least
I'm
you
not
keep
lying.
repeating yourself. You're repeating yourself and first one.
You're being
Hold on a second. Hold on.
And me.
First off, bro, listen.
And cold.
Hold on. See, I got you. Yo, Doc, let me tell you something. I get it. You're MAGA. Daddy Donald does no wrong. Your RFK is the next Messiah.
How the fuck did this RFK have to do with her brother?
Let me finish, you fucking dingling. One thing I'm not going to allow is you to disrespect her when she's talking about somebody she lost that she loved. It's not going to happen. Now, whatever your opinion on this vaccine is, that's fine. But let's show this young lady a little grace and space that you can hear her getting emotional. And she's getting emotional because of a loss. You're getting emotional because of a policy. Make that make sense. Yeah, see.
I don't really want to talk much more about it, but I'm just being really wholeheartedly. It concerns. It's really, he would be alive today, so it's a fact. So that's why when I hear this stuff, yes, it was awful. I mean, like, I had to go back to school on Good Friday, like, to return to school with my best friend, like, and have the flag, like, all, hanging half after my brother because of chicken. There was no vaccine. So, I mean, the thing is, like, you have to really, like, seriously look at the reality of what he's doing. And people don't have the time to read, some people, and if insurance is not going to cover it as well, this could be really problematic. And I wouldn't want any family to go through what I went through, and for a sister or brother to lose their sister and brother when they're young. I just would.
Can I get a chance here to talk, please?
You haven't stopped talking. Can I talk for a second? Thank you. See, first off, sincerely, I'm sorry for your loss. But I just want to point something out. Alfonso, when you asked that question earlier, and I said people are on emotions, they don't read the policies, they don't understand. Unless it impacts people directly, I'm going to be frank, they don't give a fuck. And that's just how I feel. But yeah, Dr. Wise, you got a minute, and be polite.
Wow, thank you for giving me only a minute after she can just go on forever and repeat herself.
Okay, you can stay down there and jerk off all I care. But we're not going to disrespect each other.
Let me just add this. So I think we're at a point that people, I know this sounds harsh, right? But people need to die. Kids need to die of the measles, right? And that needs to spread. And unfortunately, people need to go through what you went through so that we can get back to where we were in herd immunity. So the thing is, if we have enough herd immunity, not everyone needs to take the vaccine. The issue now is that we're losing herd immunity because not enough people want to take it. And so now we have kids dying. And it's rare, right? But it, measles and stuff it's the fastest spreading virus, right? It spreads like crazy. So I think that if people don't want to take the vaccine, that should be their right. However, I think people, if they want to let their kids die, then that's a decision that they should make, right? Remember, RFK said, he vaccinated his kids. So if you want to sit up there and not vaccine your kid for JS or RFK, then that is your right to do it, and we just need to we shouldn't intervene because that causes mistrust of this health system. This is good for you, but we shouldn't force everyone, but know that everyone's going to have to struggle because we're losing herd immunity, and hopefully we get that back as people die. I mean, this is just science, and this is math.
Well,
Right?
Steve,
a certain amount of people get it, a certain amount of people.
Well, let me just say something real quick. You got this brilliant statesman, Dr. Wise. Where is it? Oh my, OMG, pussy MF. Go kill yourself, JB. Wow. A lot of things have been said, but nobody's ever told me.
I'd like to jump in.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah, you can after JB and myself, yes.
I'd fucking crush JB's face. I'd wring your neck. I hope you do, JB. Wow. Yeah, I really want you on my stage. Come and enlighten us with your wisdom, please. You psychotic person. Go ahead, Steven, then we'll go to Zach.
Thank you. Firstly, I'm not aware of herd immunity for the measles. That's number one. Number two, I'm an elder statesman in the room. I'm 65. And me and my entire family back in the 60s were vaccinated with the 3 M's. What is it? Mumps, measles, and rubella. So I feel very sorry for C for whatever the reason was. I'm sure it's 100% true that her brother did not have access to the shot. I'm sorry that you had to go through that, but I know that me and my entire family had access to it back in the 60s, so I'm sorry that you had to go through that. Back to you, Jay.
Thank you. Let's go to Zach before he has a seizure. He likes to talk. Go ahead, Zach. Zach, are you there? Okay. Good morning, Keegan.
Good morning. I was just wanting to kind of comment, as someone who has a toddler having a baby on the way, the vaccines that they do give to children is pretty mind-boggling. Even day of birth, right? They're giving out hepatitis B. This isn't needing of herd immunity, right? Hepatitis B, there's only a few things that the way you can get it, which is shared needles, exposure to sexual activity. This is things that children, especially newborns, just are never going to actually be exposed to, other than, I guess, in a drug or sexual abuse case. So, those things, this isn't herd immunity. I think that one, people are like, hey, I wish that we had vaccine choice. Isn't me saying, oh, I'm going to, not give my kids, the rotavirus or whatever, or even polio vaccine. I think it's mostly...
Keegan, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Let me ask you. I'm trying to have a dialogue here with you.
Yeah.
So when your child, I don't know how, I think you have a daughter, when she gets old enough to go to when she gets old enough to go to school, don't they mandate where she has to have vaccines before she can attend school?
Yeah, most public schools are that way. That's why you see a lot of children that we know, like our daughter, who is on a delayed vaccine schedule. They just tend not to go to school. They tend to be homeschooled, or they go to some form of a monastery, or they go to a co-op or something like that.
Yeah, someone said, I'm sorry, JB, really quick, I'll say this. Candace Owens, despite how we might feel about her, I happen to like Candace Owens on some of her points. She did a documentary called A Shot in the Dark, because she had an eye-opening experience with vaccines when she gave birth to her first child. I think she has 3 or 4 babies now. And all the vaccines, to Keegan's point, some of them, she's like, why does a baby need a hep vaccination? Some of these vaccines seem to be related to sexually transmitted diseases. So I also think there's a book called A Shot in the Dark. I don't know if her documentary is based on that book or pulls from that book, but CandaceOwens.com, if anybody's a fan of her, or if you're just interested to see her break down and unpack these vaccines, that are mandated for these infants, for these babies, which I think is ridiculous. I recommend that viewing, A Shot in the Dark, CandaceOwens.com. Thank you.
And just to piggyback on that very quickly, JB, my understanding is that all public schools, K through 12, require vaccines. I'm not aware of a single school district that does not require vaccine.
But what if it's a private school? Hold on, Cooper.
And again, that's why I stress public school. Private school, I don't know.
Got you. Let me go to Zach. He has been patiently waiting. Good morning, Zach.
Good morning, JB. I wanted to briefly do what you already know that I'm going to do, but I'm not going to air our private dirty laundry in a public room. But I am going to say I did send you a private message apologizing for my insults against you the other day. And I would like to, without going into detail, I would like to apologize to your face with my voice, even though I can't see your face. But I am sorry for our conflict, and I do want to sincerely say, JB, I appreciate you, 98% of the time. I think I connect with you very well. I think you're a smart guy, despite what a lot of people have a lot of hate for you, but I like joining your conversations. And so I wanted to say that.
Well, Zach, let me say this real quick. The only reason you're on stage is because now I vouch for you.
Well, yeah, because I went in the back channel. I told her I was upset about my conflict with you, and I wanted to make it right. And then she said, you should message him, and I sent you a message. I just wanted to tell you, in case you didn't see the message, I did send you a message.
I saw the message. This is how you make it right. You ready?
I'm ready.
I don't want to derail the conversation. You go up in the room, and the title has to be JB is not a grifter.
Okay.
Grifting your title. And JB's the best man on the
I will make that room later today. I can't really talk today because I have to go to work in about half an hour. But
Best mod.
Best moderator ever. I promise you, I will make that room at some point.
Hold on. Okay, you're breaking up. But Keegan, I'm allowed to have my ego too.
I'm back. I'm done going in the Matrix. I was driving through the Matrix, but now I'm out.
All right, Mike is yours. Go ahead.
So yeah, on the topic, I wanted to say a few things briefly. The first thing I wanted to say is that I agree with you, and is Dr. Wise still here? He's gone. It's kind of sad that he left. Well, I don't have to speak to him directly.
Zach, he'll be back. Trust me, Zach.
Well, I wanted to say to C that I thank you for sharing your story about your brother, and I am really sorry to hear that, and it sounds like it was a very, very awful experience. And I think you are bravely sharing a story with a bunch of strangers, and I thought, even though I generally agree with Dr. Wise on this topic, I would say to him directly, and I would say to you directly, I think that it was inappropriate the way that he was not, as JB said, you were being emotional, you were being vulnerable, and he wasn't really acknowledging that. He could have acknowledged your vulnerability and then responded later to the point after giving you a little bit of humanity. After giving you the humanity, which you very much deserve, I would like to respond to the point, which is I just looked up, even though I'm driving on the highway and I know I shouldn't do that, but I did look up, is RFK opposed to the chickenpox vaccine? I don't think that he explicitly is. All that I was able to find is that he has tentatively suggested not mandating the chickenpox vaccine for people under 47 months of age, which I don't know how many years that is because I'm not good at math, but presumably...
You said 47 months?
That's what I read online, that
That's
RFK...
4 years.
So, but I had the chickenpox when I was like 7. And so if you get the chickenpox vaccine when you're 4 years old... What age was your brother, C? Can I even ask that? I don't want to probe into your private life. But
He was 9, I was 7.
So what do you think if kids get the chickenpox vaccine when they're 4? Is that good enough or no?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, I just think it needs to be really seriously looked at. And I just appreciate doctors looking at it. That's really the bottom line. That's all. I mean that sincerely. Like, that's where I stand.
Well, let me say something to you real quick, C. And I appreciate you sharing. I appreciate you. Oh, we have another moron coming up. C, but here's an advice from your big brother, JB. I'd be very careful what you share with on this app because people will weaponize it. I appreciate you being vulnerable. I heard you get emotional about it, as you should. But, yeah, no, I get it. She doesn't want to talk about it anymore, guys, so let's move on from that. But just be careful what you share because people weaponize anything that you might share. So I just want to give you that piece of advice. But let me welcome Cool C. He knows everything about everything. He's never wrong, and he loves Donald Trump. Go ahead, Cool C.
Hey, I agree sort of on the chickenpox virus to a later age. Just like they're talking about the measles, mumps, and rubella, and like within the first 24, 48 hours of birth, because they have had significant increases in some of the deaths recently with those vaccines. And that's what they're attributing to SIDS sometimes because of that infection. That cocktail, which you got to get within the first week of your life. So if they hold off and give your body a chance to build up an immune before you start that stuff, maybe you eat some dirt as a kid at 4 years old, 3 years old, 2 years old from the ground, may help you build up against the chickenpox or any other virus. I don't think he wants to I think he wants to make sure they're not affecting us the way they do so quickly. And I think that's kind of good. I think they're important. I don't think he wants to get rid of them all. He just wants to give your body a time to adjust, I think.
Thank you, Cool C. So Keegan, hold on one second, guys. Hold on one second, guys. Did I predict it that this moron, Dr. Wise, would be back? I called it. Took him less than 3 minutes. Keegan, then Kubu. Thank you.
Yeah, and again, I don't know, if people don't know, what the CDC's, vaccine schedule is for a child before 12 months, it is very, very shocking. And I think that's why, and I'm with with Cool C here, that SIDS has had an increase in the last 25 years, and only continues to increase as we increase these vaccine schedules. And again, they have no actual, they've done all these studies on SIDS. They really don't know why this is happening. But I mean, you guys think, right? In the first 2 months, they're given usually at least 3 shots. This is from hepatitis B, the first dose, then your second dose, then you're getting DTaP, then you're getting polio, then you're getting HIV, then you're going to get the rotavirus, and then all of those are second dose vaccines as well. So you're getting those again after 2 months into 4 months, and then again I think it's at 6 to 8 months, and then you do it one more time at 12 months, and then at 12 months they say they're ready for the flu vaccine. So by the time they're just a year old, they've had more than 20-something shots. It's all recommended by the CDC, and if you're a parent who doesn't read these things, you're going to be giving your kids over 20 different types of vaccines before they even reach 10 pounds, usually 10 to 15 pounds. So that's really,
when you were growing up, did you get the vaccines? Did your parents take chickenpox, measles, all this other stuff? Or?
They did.
And you're okay, right?
I don't want to go into my medical history, but I do believe that I had effects from it, yes.
Okay, I appreciate that. So, hold on a second. Zach, it's okay. I told you this moron would be back. He's down in the VIP section.
Good. Can I speak with him really briefly?
I invited him up, but he doesn't want to come. But before you speak to him briefly, Kubu's been patiently waiting. I'll come right back.
Okay.
Dad.
Yeah, I gotta get to it, so I'll be brief out of respect for everyone, and I need to get back to whatever else. But I think that the debate about vaccines, it's an interesting debate, but it's one that's been settled by a discipline called public health. There are a lot of things that we do as a society. We agree to do them, even though we may not want to do them, just because it's what leads to more lives being saved and just a healthier quality of life for everyone. When indoor plumbing and toilets were a new thing in 19th century England, there are people who had misgivings and hesitations about that. But, indoor plumbing and toilets went out over pooping in a bucket and casting it out your window. Seat belts, speaking of being thrown out of windows, seat belts, and mandated seat belts, one over being, over flying out of your windshield window. If you're in a car crash, and now we're in fact, the early vaccines, polio vaccines, were also controversial when they first came out, right? The idea of radio waves being transmitted or received through vaccines is not a new idea. Early vaccines were accused of similar things. That's where the whole tinfoil hat thing came from. So, I get the whole idea of, freedom versus life or whatever. If you're willing to give up one for the other, that sounds good on paper. But in terms of practical societal measures, we have public health for a reason. So, yeah. We should
let me push back just a smidge, and then I'm going to go to Zach. Here's my thought, right? I think certain vaccines, we need them, right? I believe in that. But if I would have known then what I know now, I would have never got the COVID vaccine. Never.
Same.
Right? I was forced into it. I didn't have a choice. And I regret getting the COVID vaccine and the boosters that I got after it.
Did you get sick? I got sick off the booster.
I got sick. Cool seeing me up, please. I got sick, and I tell you what, I'm not the beacon of health, right? I drink too much coffee. I don't work out enough. But there's things that are going on with me that I definitely think correlate with the vaccine. So I think that was forced on people. People lost their jobs because of it. Because, Kubu, the truth is this, society runs on fear, right? As long as they can fear-monger and put people in positions, and I think that's what they did with the COVID vaccine. I understand the world was scared. We were all locked up. Nobody's ever lived through that before. But let me tell you something, man. I do regret it. But, cool, see, hold on, because Zach wants to address Dr. Wise, who told me to kill myself. Zach?
Yeah, so Dr. Wise, if I may, I know you want to talk, Dr. Wise, but and I think you should be able to. But I just was going to validate a little bit.
Fucking talk, bro. Bullshit.
Well, but what I was going to tell you.
I get kicked every day by JB, so that's why I'm so fucking mad at him, man. It's not
I know,
right.
but that's why I'm the right guy to talk to you in this moment, and the only person who knows what I'm about to say really is JB. Because, 4 days ago, I was very frustrated with JB because I don't even really remember the specifics. Maybe JB does. We don't have to get into it. But it was basically to the effect of, I said something, I was talking off mic, I was talking out of turn, and it's just Clubhouse culture. It's like the way that it works on Clubhouse is whoever's in the top left, if they want to talk, everybody else has to mute up. They get to run their room however they want. It's kind of like I'm going to take my ball and go home, or it's my house, my rules kind of thing. But it also is the way it goes. And what I wanted to say to you specifically is just like my little brief analysis of what just happened, which is I think the woman C was sharing with a lot of emotionality about something very close to her heart. And I think that the only mistake that you made was failing to respond with empathy and sensitivity and humanity to her vulnerable story, because I agree with the points that you were making, and I'm on your side of the argument because my politics because we've spoken in the past. And I said this, I was like, got off mic to say, oh man, I was watching this kind of human conflict car crash happening in real time, thinking, fuck, I agree with Sorry, my alarm went off. I'm going to land here, but I'm saying I agree with Dr. Wise. I'm scared of pissing off JB. I'm noticing that C needs empathy and people aren't really giving it to her. And I wanted to just offer that reflection to you and say, when you get booted to the audience, the goal is, although it's easier said than done, but the goal for people like you and me is to remain calm and don't say something that you're going to have to eat crow for later. Because the other day I called JB a blankety blank, 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 blank. I'm not even going to repeat it, but now I have to fucking eat crow and apologize. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Well, Zach, you never wished that. You didn't tell me to go kill myself. But I'm going to give this sensitive gentleman 2 minutes to respond, and 2 minutes won't be enough because I'll go for 10. Get Dr. Wise.
Thank you. With what's her name? C. Yes, I should have said first. Sorry for your brother, of course. But the relevance of the conversation is you're basically implicating RFK Jr. that he somehow had your.
So I moved him down because this young lady's already said she don't want to continue talking about her brother.
Well, he was going into
hold on, let Zach, hold on. But you gotta respect her wishes, right? Let her be.
Right, and don't call her whatever her name is.
Yeah, just let her be. Let's move on. So, Steve, I can't bring him up anymore. If you want to bring him up, be my guest.
JB, it's if you want me to, I'll invite him up. It's your decision.
As long as he respects the space and respects this young lady, I'm cool with that. Listen, I'm not putting on my cape for C. She's a big girl. I've seen her bang with some of the biggest influences on this app. But there's certain points, even in these conversations, can we just show you a smidge of humanity? Listen, Keegan and I don't agree on probably 99% of the things. He said shit about me, opened rooms about me, but you can move past it. I move past it. I'm not mad at Keegan. I actually respect Keegan because he stands on his square. But Keegan's never said to me, I hope you go kill yourself. How mentally disturbed do you have to be to say that to somebody? Because you don't get to speak. Here's an idea, Zach. People want to speak, you're more than welcome to open your own rooms. Cool, see, chill, bro. Because if I don't go to Dr. Wise, he's just a little crazier than you. Hey, Dr. Wise.
So you guys understand why I get so upset with JB. He moves me every time, right? I mean, this is a human can't deal with this so much. Like a human cannot deal with just being constantly thrown out, disrespected, and then just I can't fucking keep calm. I can't, folks. You have to understand where I'm coming from a little bit here. He has had a hard-on for me the day I got on this fucking app for 9 months. Okay, we have been going back and forth, and he will not respect me, bro. I don't give a fuck what you say. He's even saying 100%. He's had a hard-on, and I have tried to be respectful of this girl. And this motherfucker, cool C. Stop, bro. So I heard what you said. I'm trying to apologize and show respect to C. And JB is throwing me out while I'm trying to do it. While you guys are saying, why is he getting so upset? This is why. Because JB enjoys this shit. JB enjoys to torment me and disrespect me.
But yet you come back. But yet you come back to the abuse.
I came in here. You know what's crazy? I try to have a respectful conversation. You do nothing but disrespect me, JB. Give me a chance. Give me a fucking chance.
You know what the problem is?
If not, bring me someplace and let's fight it out. If not, let's fight it out, bro. Meet me someplace, let's fight it out. Enough disrespecting me.
Okay.
Enough, bro.
I'm not coming to Montana to fight you, you moron.
Then I will come to New York to fight you, JB.
Come to New York.
I don't care. Whatever I gotta do. But if you want that, JB, then fuck.
Okay, I'm done with him. I mean, Keegan,